As India makes rapid strides in the field of technology and innovation, one space that appears to be lacking behind is the protection of personal data and its potential commodification. Now, to tackle this problem, the government in August of 2023 introduced the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. 16 months later, in January of 2025, the draft rules were introduced and now the government has sought feedback. So to understand what this DPDP Act means for you and me, our children, our social media content, we have with us Akhilesh Tuteja, partner at KPMG India. Akhilesh, thank you very much for joining in. So first, give us a brief synopsis of the Act and the draft rules.
Thank you, Reema, for having me here. I think, as you said, that India needs a Data Protection Act. We have been asking for it for a long time. And the good news is that we have it now. The Data Protection Act, which we have now in place, is possibly one of the best in the world. And I can say that with a deep sense of conviction, because the prior Data Protection Act have been modeled on the classical approaches, whereas this one brings a great balance between protection and innovation. And therefore, if you see, it's much simpler, easier to implement, and a lot more friendlier for people to do protection as well as governance around that. Easiest one to implement. So when you look at the consent process, unlike many parts of the world, there are no detailed prescription, which means that the companies and corporates which have to implement can define their own ways to do it. Second is that the way it's been asked for people to demonstrate compliance is also much easier. And the new areas, which I'm sure you would have seen, is creating no differentiation between what the earlier Act talked about is the personal information and significant personal information or sensitive personal information. That's gone, so makes it simpler.
Well put. So let's talk about social media data. All of us are perpetually on social media, and we're concerned about the data that it collects. What does the Act and the rules say about that?
I think there are two very good things about this particular rules which we've seen when it comes to social media. The first one is that it actually puts the onus on the social media companies to say when you collect data of children, which is anybody below the age of 18, you just can't do it. You need parental or guardian consent. Now, the face of it, it might sound onerous, but as a father, I do think I feel very proud what the country is doing, because it is allowing us to take conscious control on how the data of our children is managed. The second part is that the government has also come up with the rule which basically says that if a person hasn't used the social media for 3 years or more, you got to delete it. And which I think creates a high degree of protection, because we have seen a lot of data which just stays in the digital space forever. That's another thing which I think I'm very happy about.
Thank you for watching CNBC TV18. For all top headlines and updates, follow us on our social media platforms.